Hi, and welcome to our course on twice exceptionality. We're so excited to be with you and looking forward to getting started. Each week our plan is to have a little bit of an overview video. Some weeks will be quite short, some might be a little bit longer, but to just ground you in what you're going to be doing for the week. As a brief overview, we're going to just do brief introductions, look at our syllabus and talk about class expectations, and then go through a little bit of the basic laws and terms. Each week you're going to have readings. On some of the weeks you're going to have discussions, and on some of the weeks you're going to be creating or actually building projects and reviewing them with your students, trying things out. When you're in our discussions, we're asking for 3 or more substantial posts. That would be a paragraph or more across 2 or more days. We're not saying that for no reason. We pick 2 or more days because if people ask you questions or new people post a day or 2 after you, you're missing that discussion without jumping in at least a couple weeks. You can share your initial post with your questions or your queries and then respond to peers as well. And then you'll have those application weeks again where you're trying things out, you're doing things with students. And feel free, if you are a counselor, administrator, or teaching assistant in some other type of role, that we can do some modifications for you and with you on that. The weeks run from Monday through Sunday. You have to stay with the current week. There's a lot. It's 12 weeks. It's pretty intensive. You are getting the 3 credits within our district, and we are working to potentially give to you as well some university credit options. Each week there's a readings list as well. I'm going to be able to show you where that is after a little bit, but at the very beginning when you get into the course, you go to Getting Started, and you're going to have some additional resources, including your syllabus and some of the big readings and resources and links to the other readings within that. Next, introducing ourselves. I'll start first. So I'm Dr. Vanessa Ewing. I'm a curriculum specialist. I have focused on both gifted and special education for over 20 years now. I started as a special education teacher, and within a year I heard about this thing called gifted and then ran with that as well. I'm especially interested in the social emotional needs of students, and I have some additional degrees and background in school counseling and educational psychology within that. Dr. Michelle Gadinsky is from our department. She is a school psychologist and is going to be joining us both within the discussions, the grading, and some of the other work as well. And she's a part of the gifted and talented department and does some one-on-one testing.
And I'm Lindsay Keese. I'm the Senior Manager of Special Education Instruction for Charters and Innovation Schools with Exceptional Student Services. I am looking forward to working with everyone, and I can't wait to share this information with you.
Before we jump into our definitions, I'm going to show you a little bit around the course as well, and then we'll get started with our other definitions. So we're going to walk through for a moment, pretending you haven't been into Schoology before. If you're from a charter, you are going to have to be in your dps.net email account in order to get proper credit. Go up to that little microscope lens up there and type in twice exceptional. It should pop up. I'm going to click on our course, and then it's going to take you to this page. It looks slightly different for you than for me as a teacher versus a participant within the class. But you can see at the very beginning, we want you to start with Getting Started to look at the syllabus and some of our basic course materials, and you just click on that to get into it. You can check your grades, and I encourage you to check your grades. Typically, grades will be updated within 1 week of your work that you're submitting. And then you'll click into your week, and you'll have an overview, you'll have readings and videos, and then either the assignment or the discussion. If you need to email, please check in the upper right corner as well, as we can send internal emails to one another that way. So when we talk about twice exceptional students, the ECEA, that's the Exceptional Children's Education Act, defines twice exceptional as a student that is both identified gifted under state rules and qualifies for either a 504 or an IEP. So special education. Let's start with gifted and talented defined. So it's children 4 to 21. We're really looking at that public school experience whose aptitude or competence in abilities, talents, or the potential in one or more domains are so exceptional or advanced that they require special provisions to meet their needs. We talk about gifted learners this way. They come, of course, from all different types of populations, including definitely students with disabilities have giftedness oftentimes. Categories such as general intellectual ability, it might be a specific academic aptitude, creativity, leadership, the arts, including things like psychomotor abilities. You will have links that you can click on, and you can get some additional training if you're interested as well to look at all the different assessments that we use. As a general rule, you're looking for nationally normed and standardized assessments at the 95th percentile or higher, and that follows state law. We do have a way that you can get endorsed or trained rather to be able to do these identifications yourself. If you're interested, please reach out and we can tell you more about how to do that as well. When you start thinking, this is not an exhaustive list, but it gives you some. We've got jury performances, portfolios, anecdotal or qualitative evidence. We do some cognitive assessments that could be done by a DPS official, a psychologist. We also do universal screening. That goes for all children. For kindergarten, second, and sixth grade, and we can do some individual testing in all the other grades. Some of the most common things we use here are the NNAT and COGAT. We have surveys. We look at things like CMAS, iReady, MAPS, the Iowa Test of Basic Skills, Apprenda, and more. And we're looking for a body of evidence. So typically we're looking for at least 2 or 3 pieces of evidence there. Categories that you'll hear of in particular in our district are gifted, highly gifted, magnet eligible, talented, and talent pool. Gifted children have that body of evidence. We are able to go ahead and give them the gifted identification. We're looking at the 95th percentile or higher. If they're considered highly gifted, that's when they have a body of evidence and they have at least the 95th percentile or higher on a cognitive assessment. As soon as they get the 95th percentile or higher on a cognitive assessment, they're considered magnet eligible. And what that means in our district is we have several magnet sites where these individuals that are at the schools are highly trained and qualified to work with gifted children. There's different models for that, but they can be within a school or a school within a school, or different models where the teachers and some other students are all also magnet eligible or highly gifted or are trained to work with those children. Certainly not required. Most of our families do not go there, but they absolutely can, and some of our families do, and it's some terrific programming options for them. Our twice exceptional learners end up in many of our magnet sites as well. When we're talking about talents, we're talking more about arts, creativity, leadership, sports related, and the visual arts. And talent pool, these are students that have some either qualifying identification measures but aren't quite built up enough with their body of evidence to be identified yet, or they might have some data that's very close, and we're keeping an eye and we're working with them and trying to document and move them into the gifted category.
So now we're going to talk about the categories of disability under IDEA, or the Individuals with Disability in Education Act. When we're specifically talking about these categories, we want to make sure that we're identifying that there are only 13 disability categories that fall under IDEA. Those include autism spectrum disorder, deafblindness, deafness, hearing impairment, including deafness, serious emotional disability, intellectual disability, multiple disabilities, orthopedic impairments, other health impairments, specific learning disabilities, speech language impairments, traumatic brain injuries, and a visual impairment, including blindness.
And I like to add that IDEA is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. These are the categories for a student that is officially in special education.
Then when we're talking about other students that may qualify under 2E or twice exceptional, we can also talk about our students that fall in the 504 Section 504 plans. These are the Rehabilitation Act of students that fall under other individuals with disabilities, and it's a much broader group of individuals. So Section 504 is a federal civil rights law that prohibits the recipients of federal funding, such as school districts, from discriminating against individuals with disabilities. Again, the broader disabilities outside of those 13 that we discussed for special education, or IDEA. The Section 504 definition is broader, but this also includes any physical, mental impairments, or any other disabilities that substantially limit one or more major life activity. This could include learning, but it's not limited to learning. The focus specifically with 504s are what accommodations people can put in place to help support individuals. If you want to learn more around 504s or any of the resources around IDEA, you are welcome to go ahead and click here, and you can go right to our Commons page for DPS where they can connect you with ESS. Our other type of plan that we're going to talk about today are advanced learning plans, or ALPs. They are ones that we write for our students with gifted needs. And then we also have individual education plans, or IEPs. So in order for a student to have their ALP, they are working towards academic goals that they're going to work on over 1 year. The students will also have one affective goal, which is a goal that may focus on personal or social emotional areas of growth. These can look like perfectionism, self-advocacy, organization, friendships, etc. We like to use the family, we like to use the teacher, and we like to use the student to help write those ALPs, and then we check in regularly on those plans over the course of the year. This is part of state law that these are composed and updated annually, so you want to make sure that you're doing those at the beginning of each school year and that you are bringing those teams together to discuss these.
And that is the end of our overview for week 1. We would love to, we're looking forward to jumping into the discussion with you and seeing you live for our synchronous course at week 2. Bye-bye.
See you soon.